themselves a little bit more and assume different roles, but I'm not really concerned, and I don't really have any questions about them. I just want to see them go do it. You know, we obviously got to replace Hearn, but I think we got the answers. We're fortunate that we've been able to play a lot of guys. So we got a lot of guys that are coming back, and John Simpson stepping in there. You know, we'll probably start off with Pollard in there at right guard and try to get our best 5 on the field right out of the gate. Is it best to have Pollard in there? Is it best to move Gage over? Is Bachhorst going to beat somebody out? Is Ankrum go? Does Pollard stay? We got a lot of things a lot of moving parts, but we got the answers. So I'm confident in that. I'm not really concerned. I just want to get the guys in the right spot to give us the best chance.
Is Garrett Williams 100% now?
Garrett's back. Yeah, Garrett is ready to go. He's had a great off season. I mean, he's gonna make a difference for us. He brings a mindset that's hard to coach. So I'm really glad to get him back. We got him back for 2 years, so we got a red shirt out of him.
Deborah, can you shed some light on Dexter and what the issue is there?
Just as the healing of his ankle and foot and all that stuff, and just kind of getting his full range of motion back. You know, he was never really able to fully get everything 100% last year, and then he rolled it again. He got I can't remember.
Georgia Tech.
Was it Georgia Tech or NC State? He got cut a couple times, and he just never really got 100%. And he was he's coming off of the surgery there, and so just really trying to be cautious with him, and because he's the best he's been since probably his freshman year right now, and just trying not to have any setbacks, and because he's made great strides. He's running well, he looks good, and he feels good, and just like I said, just getting it back totally 100% so he can really go into the off season with great confidence.
Coach, after the first Alabama loss a couple years ago, you talked about how engaged the team was from day one. Have you seen a similar response from this team?
Oh yeah. These guys, like I said, when you got the amount of guys coming back that are similar to that year, when that year coming back in 16, we had about everybody back. We had some gaps on defense that year. This team's a little different than that team, but there's no question the type of people, the type of leadership that we had on that team, we got on this team. That's for sure. So they've been locked in. We've had a great spring's coming early. We usually start this first week of March. Just so happens it fell on the 28th, but they've worked really hard in the weight room. We had I think 6 days of our early morning mats, and the guys grinded through that, did a nice job. So. All the things as a coach that you look for are in place.
When these guys take the field, Dabo, when you look out there for the first time and see Christian, see Austin, and see Cleveland back, will you shake your head at all to yourself, kind of in a little bit of disbelief, or even the good fortune that not one or two, but all three of those guys came back?
I probably did that the first mat drill, or maybe the first team meeting when they were in there. So just really glad to have those guys back. I mean, they're great players, but they're great leaders. I mean, Austin and Clee and Christian Wilkins, I mean, those guys, they've got huge futures without football. I mean, they're just strong men that they're not afraid to speak up. They're not afraid to share their thoughts, their opinions. They love to lead. They love to hold their teammates accountable, and they hold themselves to an incredibly high standard. So it just makes my job a lot easier. So I'm excited that they're back and happy for them. I mean, those guys, they're back. I mean, they got 11 months. And it's all over. 11 months. This is done, and they're back with a purpose. They want to personally improve their draft stock. That's something that's one of the main reasons they came back. Cleveland wants to graduate, and Austin wants to finish up, which they're going to do. Christian's already graduated, and he's a substitute teacher, if you can believe that. he's going to schools all over. You know, he's not doing a student. He's done. He graduated, so he's just making some money on the side. I think they pay $80 a day or something like that. So, how about you show up to school and you got Christian Wilkins as your substitute teacher? I think he was at Walhalla the other day. So how about that? But that's the kind of guy he is. You know, he's just always looking for a way to get better. And but they came back. You know, they want to improve their draft stock, and there's no question they want to have the best possible season. You know, they all know that they've got a chance to do something special. This senior class now, and the achievables that they have a chance to achieve, as Tim says, is off the charts.
To try to replace what Dorian was able to do for you guys last year, is that going to be, are you going to try out different personnel?
We are. We're going to look at a lot of guys. Dorian he's a big loss. He was a really, really good player, very productive. But obviously Jalen's back, and Jalen's a different type of player. He's very good in certain situations, and you know, a little limited in other situations. Whereas Dorian was kind of an every down guy, which is very unique at that position. We think Isaiah Simmons could be a guy. He's a guy that has unbelievable athleticism and speed, and he's got the physicality. He's a great blitzer. He can cover. Something he needs to improve on this spring, but he can cover. He made some great plays on the ball last year, latter part of the season. We feel good about him back there at safety too, but he's a guy that could be one of those every down type of guys at that nickel position. Balin Spector is another kid that has really turned some heads around here this past year, you know, within the coaching staff. You know, very instinctive player, so he'll be a guy that'll get a look. We'll probably look at Mike Jones out there as well. So we got a bunch of guys, and then you know, we'll see how it goes, and you know, we can always our true nickel, true dime personnel packages. You know, we got guys that we can put in there like we used to do with Ryan Carter. Kayvon's played there. We'd like to keep Kayvon on the back end, but we'll see. But we do have a lot of people we need to look in there.
Coach, the 9 mid-years, that ties the most that you've had. Maybe you'll even exceed that next year with a bigger class. But
yeah.
Do you think that will be more the norm going forward? And how much does that give you an advantage, not only just for those guys that's playing as freshmen, but going forward, you know, as they redshirt and
yeah.
go into their sophomore years?
Well, I unless they change a rule or something, I think it will be the norm going forward, just because, you know, everybody knows everything about everybody these days. And I think a lot of guys, they set themselves on that track because that's what they want to do. They like, you know what, I want to go in, I want to you know, give myself the best chance to play as a freshman or whatever it may be, or I want to get ahead in school because I want to, you know, graduate or maybe get a master's, whatever it may be, whatever their reasoning is. And so I definitely think that the type of students that we're recruiting, that'll be more the norm than the exception. I'd be surprised if we have a year that comes by where we don't have mid-years. Now, some years maybe more than others, and maybe we had 3 or 4 last year. But yeah, and this will be a big class. I mean, we'll sign a full group, and so I would imagine we'll have probably at least as many as we have this year.
What have been some of the early returns with those mid-years, just from their all-in drills?
Just transition, you know. I think just as my experience with all of them, they don't all play. You know, I would say, I don't know, we'd have to go back and track it, but probably the majority of them have played, if I had to guess. But we've had several guys that haven't, that have come in, but even still, just the transition, because it's very hard. I mean, these guys, they are grinding. I mean, it's early workouts, it's class, it's tutors, it's study hall, it's you know, practice. I mean, there's just a lot that's demanded of these guys, and so that's hard. And so now you take away having to actually play games too, and then you get into spring ball and you don't practice every day. I just think the transition is a little smoother for a lot of those guys. Without the pressure of the season on top of you, and you know, just the opportunity to maybe learn the system a little bit slower than just showing up in August and it's just and here it comes. You know, you got a little slower installation schedule just by the nature of spring. So I think that has been beneficial. And then just the development physically. I mean, look at Deshaun. Deshaun came in here, he's 180 when he got here in January. In August, he was 200. So the strength conditioning, the nutrition, just all those, being able to tap into all those resources that are available to these guys, I think has really helped the majority of them, you know. So, and then just like I said, learning the system. So then when they do get into the summer and they go through the installation again in the summer, they pick up a little bit more, and then again in fall camp. So I think it's been a real positive for us.
There been any other transfers since signing day?
No, not that I know of. I think everybody's here.
Logan Rudolph down there?
Yeah, he's been cleared to go, and so you know I'm anxious to see him, and I'm sure he's nervous, but you know, because at some point you got to go cut it loose, but he's been released and all that stuff, so we'll see how he does. But he's worked really hard too. Looks great. He'll probably the rest of his career probably play in some type of, you know, restrictor on his shoulder, at least while he's in college. We'll see. But he's good to go.
Jurgen, he should be back
Yeah,
for fall, you think?
Yeah, we expect him to be ready to go, but he's going to be in green, and he'll do everything, but you know, he won't scrimmage or do any live tackling or anything like that. So, but he'll put helmet on, shoulder pads, and start that process back for him.
All good. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.